Okay, y'all. Apparently, I am in like technical difficulty hell, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm just hitting all these buttons. In fact, Ashley texted me while I'm hitting all these buttons trying to make all these videos go. And she goes, "What the hell?" You know what, girl? I don't know what the hell either. Okay? I'm trying to play my little intro countdown, and I don't know. It didn't work. It didn't work. So I don't know. I guess I better talk to Mr. President about that. But anyway, thank you for joining us on another exciting and riveting episode of Ghost Hunter Joe and Friends. Today on Ghost Hunter Joe and Friends, we are going to have our friend Trenda come and talk to us. And actually, y'all got to meet Trenda a little bit ago. She actually was on the show when we had Miss Shauna on for the Spooky Pickle. So she's already a friend of yours too. So I think that's absolutely exciting. But before I get started, and because I am a huge copycat, and I have said this, time and time again, that I want to be Amber of Amber and Heidi's reality TV, I once again am going to steal her idea, and I'm going to do roll call because what the hell, it's my show and I want to. So, first of all, the one and only Amber and Heidi Spills TV. Woo, woo! So glad she's here. Holly, I'm glad you're here. Trenda is here, but I don't know why she's in the chat because she's going to be a guest today. Jennifer, Alberta, I see you. Sherry, I'm glad you got your technical difficulties fixed and all that kind of good stuff. We got a lot of people. Jules. Okay, Jules, I just want to give you a special shout out because I know you're going through some stuff right now. Love you, girl. Who else is in here? Bob, I'm so glad you got to see the new intro. I cannot take credit for that. And apparently I didn't do it right either. So you got kind of a sneak preview. I guess you got to watch everything else. I did not do it. I did not do that. That's all one of the wonderful things that are part of Midnight Wolfpack, which again, if anybody's looking for a show, we need more people to come up and make us be wonderful. So come be a friend and hang out with us. Sherry, I haven't forgotten you. Just saying. Oh, Denise, I love you. So glad you're here. Gina, glad you are here. And of course, Shaylin and Christy. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. It's nothing personal, I promise. But I do want to bring up my girl. Well, today she's going by the name Erin. So let's bring up Erin.
Hi.
What you doing, girl?
Nothing. I mean, you're the one, Mr. Future Zach. So I mean,
I am the future
ever go
Mr.
married?
Zach Baggins.
No.
I am the future Mr. Zach Baggins. You know, after last week's show, I really felt like I needed to give him a shout out, especially since, you know, he's going to marry me. So there you go. Let's just put that out there right now. You know, I will be the future Mr. Zach Baggins. So let's just get that clear for everybody.
Put it out there, everybody knows.
It's nothing important. You know, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. So, you know, Denise is reminding me that I did not say hello to Jason. Jason, I am really sorry that I missed
Sorry,
you.
Jason.
I'm terrible. Oh, I don't think I mentioned Beth either. God, I do terrible on this. I do terrible on this.
Come on.
You know, I don't know how all these people do that. To Shaylin, isn't he straight?
Well,
Yeah, he is. He is. But does it really matter? Does it really matter?
yeah.
Just saying.
Taken?
Oh, look. No, so Zach is taken.
I
Yes.
have no idea.
Yes. Allegedly, he is taken by me. Just saying. And the future Beth Groff
Hey, Shauna.
will perform our wedding ceremony. So just saying. Just saying. So anyway, so I'm glad that we got that all.
No, I have to know though. Are you going to get married here or in Vegas?
We're gonna elope.
Okay.
We're eloping. But I am going to move to Vegas.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, and those people in YouTube land will appreciate this, I can get all the court records I want in Vegas.
Oh, man. That is a good reason to.
Just saying. You know, I got to put that little dig in there. Just saying.
Do.
People who know what that's about, they know. They know. So anyway.
The show tonight.
What?
Let's talk about the show tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for getting me back on track. Well, before we do that, you know, we're really here to talk about, you know, Tennessee and, you know, spooky haunts and ghosts and traditions and all that stuff. So it's going to be a learning experience for everybody, which I'm really excited about. But let's just talk about Tennessee here for a minute. Let's just talk about what it's like here in Tennessee just for a minute. It is cold. It is like colder than.
What is up with this weather? Like
it's colder than, you know, the gates of hell, really. So, which, you know, I do feel is kind of related to the paranormal. So, you know, just saying. So, anyway. Oh, somebody gave us a sad face on Facebook. Oh, I'm so happy to see that. That's nice.
Hey, that makes me happy.
That's nice. Ooh, we got haters. You know.
Right, all serious.
You can see I'm really offended.
Why are you laughing? This is why, because if you don't care.
Because it's my show, I'll do what I want. That's why.
Okay,
anyway, I want to go ahead and bring up Trenda, and she's going to tell us all about her, and then we're going to get into our spooky haunts, folklore, and legends. Oh no, Denise! Oh, you leave the haters and the trolls. You just leave them. I don't care. I don't care.
As you can see, we're laughing, so it doesn't offend us at all. So
I know, right? I know. So this is Trenda, everybody. Welcome, Trenda.
Hi, everybody.
How are you
glad
doing
to be
today?
Here. I'm doing great.
I am so glad. I am so glad. So it's been about a month or two since you've been on our show before.
Right.
So if you don't mind, kind of reintroduce yourself a little bit.
Okay, well, my name is Trenda. And I was on your show before with Shauna, who is the current owner of Pickle Treats and Antiques. I was the first owner of, at the time I owned it, it was called the Pickled Beet. And so we were talking about the paranormal activity that goes on in that store. And so that's where I first met you guys at. But as far as my history in paranormal activity, I've been in it for a long time. My grandmother actually lives on a mountain, and she used to sit on the front porch and tell us all these ghost stories and legends about Tennessee, and all these superstitions and things. And I'm like 7 years old, and I'm like eating up every word of it. So that started me on my long journey. Now I just I crave knowledge, and I'm a Google freak, so when I'm watching shows and they say something about this house, I'm on my phone Googling, wanting to know everything about it, who lived there, what's happened there, all that stuff. So brought me to my work. We have about 800 employees, and so I started a couple of years ago doing these lunch and learns in the month of October about the spooky haunts and folklore of Tennessee, and I thought your guests might like to hear some of it.
Yeah, I think this is really going to be a really interesting show. And, one of the things that I think is really cool that you actually came prepared to talk about this.
Yeah.
So I've done very...
Well, I don't know how prepared I am, but...
I have done very little research on the topics.
Me too.
So really, I'm kind of handing the show over to you because I'm going to share your PowerPoint, and we're.
Oh,
really
you're going to share every page of the PowerPoint.
Well, you didn't send it to me just for fun.
Well,
Yeah, that's fine.
You put a lot of time and effort into it, so absolutely, I'm going to share it.
Okay, that's fine.
Absolutely, I am.
of course I am.
So. I've got to just say, though, the chat in the comments, I love you all. I love you all. And the fact that I have this comment of, get her our para-thug.
I love that.
I love it.
But I love, though, how, everybody has our back.
I know. I think it's kind of funny, actually.
I've also been I've also went on Bigfoot expeditions from 2009 to 2016. So I have quite a few stories about that too.
Well, have you ever talked to Ernie or Denise Pack about all your Bigfoot expeditions?
I haven't talked to Ernie or Denise. I have talked to Leanne and Todd a little bit, but I haven't talked to Ernie and Denise. I actually started going on the expeditions in 2009, and then my husband passed away in 2016, so I haven't been on one since then. But yeah, they were quite the experience, and I was really surprised at the level of professionalism that they had at these expeditions. The first one I went on, I thought it was going to be, a bunch of rednecks out in the woods, pooping in the holler, and trying to see Bigfoot. But actually, it was very professional. They had, lots of equipment, thermal imaging cameras, recording equipment. That was a learning experience, the first one. And then as they progressed, the experiences I've had have been phenomenal. And here's my thing about Bigfoot. Some people don't believe in it, and that's okay. I get it. That's okay. Some people have to see it to believe it. But, with the experiences I've had, the evidence I've seen, I can tell you that there is a Bigfoot. He is there. And so, it's been, I've been to Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And I will say that in my experience, the big feet or Bigfoot, they're all different depending on what region you're in. So it's really interesting. It's a very interesting subject, and really good, some strange experiences, I will say. That's my dogs. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. On my show, my dog makes an appearance at least once. So that's cool.
I have 3 of them.
So I'm just wondering, maybe it's just my computer, but you sound like you're kind of breaking up a little bit. Ash, is it just me, or do you hear it too?
I'll hear it too.
I hear it when you talk. Do you hear it when I talk?
I don't anymore. I'm not
Okay.
now. Now I can hear you. Now,
Beth's comment up for a minute.
what?
Can you put Beth's comment up for a minute?
If you don't enjoy, you have the option to leave.
I'll keep it the way it goes.
Do you have a show so we can?
I'm sure you have to put your content.
You know, I just get more and more into the YouTube drama every day.
We love you.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now, because this presentation, it really is, it's awesome. So I am going to share my screen. Let's see if I can do this and do it right. I did.
Perfect.
I did.
I'm impressed.
So I know I'm impressed too. So Trenda, if you just kind of want to go through and talk, and then as you're kind of talking, you know, I'm probably going to start throwing some questions out and whatnot. I know for those who are watching, our faces are kind of small, but sorry. So I will just
Okay, let me know if I break up anymore. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so most of your audience probably knows all about this screen, so I don't know if I need to go into any explanation, as all of them are paranormal investigators. So, but there you go. This right here. This is one of those places that when I did research on it, that it stuck with me. I mean, it's even today, it's a horrible, sad, tragic story. And I'll try to, summarize it, because it's kind of long. But Rotherwood Mansion is located in East Tennessee. And so Reverend Frederick A. Ross, he's the one that first constructed it, and he lived there with his daughter, Rowena. Which is a tragic story. Rowena was a beautiful young lady, and she was about to get married. It was on her wedding day. Now, I could not confirm if they had already gotten married or if they were just about to get married. But she was in her wedding dress. It was her wedding day, and the groom, the house is located on the Halston River. So the groom and his groomsmen were going to go fishing that day. So they go down there to fish, and tragically, her groom falls out of the boat. He drowns. He's dead. She goes into mourning for several years, and she comes out of mourning, and she meets someone, and she finally gets married. Well, she marries him, and he dies of typhoid fever. So she goes back into mourning, and after about 10 years, she meets someone else. She marries him and ends up having a daughter. And when the daughter was 6 years old, she returned to Rotherwood Mansion, where her father was. And the legend says that she heard the ghostly voice of her first love calling her from the Halston River, and she put on her wedding gown and she walked in the Halston River and drowned. That's the sad part of the story. Now comes the horrific, so Frederick Ross, Reverend Frederick Ross, he became so distraught. He made bad business deals, and he was about to lose his whole plantation. So his overseer, who was Joshua Phelps, and that's his picture right there, he was the only person that
just ever so slightly. Just ever so slightly.
Okay, I'll try not to move. Maybe it'll be better. So he was the only person that Ross knew that could take over the plantation and that had the money to do so. But he was a horrible man. He was a cruel man. So before Ross actually turned the plantation over to him, he released all the slaves that he could possibly release. He released them all. He gave them all their freedom. And an interesting side story to that is they moved on to another city close by, and they took the last name of their the plantation owner Ross, and they are ancestors of Diana Ross, um, the the Supreme Diana Ross. So so Phelps takes over. He rules the plantation cruelly. He tortures and abuses servants, even his own family. He had his daughter. His daughter wanted to marry this young man who had gone to the Civil War, and her father arranged for him to be killed on the battlefield so that she wouldn't marry him, and she ended up committing suicide because of it. But he reigned, and he not only was he cruel, but he had a mistress who was a former slave that was just as cruel as he was, if not worse. And so they reigned in terror for years. And then finally, Joshua Phelps, he ended up falling ill, and the legend says that he died because when he was in his deathbed, flies swarmed around him and went up his nose and mouth and suffocated him. So I know he's dead, and then comes the funeral. So the whole town, they despised him. They didn't want to go to the funeral, but they decided they should go. So they put the casket in the back of the carriage, and they hooked it to these horses, and he was to be buried up on top of a hill. So
minutes here to tell B. Todd, who just came in, hi, and you missed a lot.
What'd you say? You were too far away. What'd you say?
I said, can I interrupt for a minute to tell the Todd who just entered, hi, and that you missed a lot.
Drama, it's everywhere.
So as the horses was taking the carriage up the hill, they couldn't climb the hill. They couldn't pull the carriage. So the village people had to go and get 2 more horses and hook up to try to get this casket up to the top of the hill. So and the skies were darkening, the storm was coming. These townsmen, they were scared, and it was just a horrific day. And so as the casket they finally get it up the hill, and all of a sudden this black hellhound jumps out of the carriage. The casket jumps out of the carriage and takes off. So the townspeople are, back then superstitions just ran wild. So they just wanted to get this man in the ground, get him 6 feet under, and get back home. So, and that's what they did. And then after that, his mistress ended up coming up dead, which the legend says that the slaves that were left on the plantation were so tired of her cruelty that they got her and just killed her. And rumor is that they dismembered her and buried different parts of her body around on a plantation. So the house stood empty for years and years and years. And finally, in the late 1980s, I think it is, early 90s, a doctor from Knoxville bought the house, totally remodeled it. And it said that she painted a mural on the wall on the staircase depicting the history of the house. But there's ghostly stories of the hellhound running on the property. There's stories of the woman in white, walking by the river, crying. I mean, there's a lot of ghostly stories. It's unfortunate that you're not allowed to tour this house or go to it, because I think it would be an awesome place to go do a paranormal investigation. But apparently the lady does not like.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Is this place open for investigations at all?
No, this place is not. The doctor, she bought the house, and from all I can gather, she still owns the house, but she doesn't allow anyone there. And she actually gets very angry for people stopping and taking pictures of the house. But, you bought a haunted house. What do you expect? You bought a house that was full of history. People are going to stop and take pictures. And,
well, I know a little something about going and taking pictures. I know that it's totally acceptable to go and have a picture taken, even if nobody is there. I would never encourage somebody to trespass.
No.
Ever. Trespassing is wrong.
Here, there is totally fine.
If you would like to get your picture taken in front of a sign, that is fine.
And Joe, just so you know,
Touche.
called you a badass.
I can't hear you. What?
Just so you know, the Todd called you a badass. Because you are.
Just saying.
Hard badass.
Just saying. Just saying. I'm excited. You know, Trenda, have you ever talked to Greg Yost?
No, I haven't. I
You
asked
should.
the lady.
You really should. I've never connected with him, but he is like known as Squatch Man.
You
So
gotta
considering how into Bigfoot you are, you guys should really connect.
Yeah, I asked the lady that we went on all our investigations and stuff with. I asked her if she had ever heard of him, but she had not. So I can't believe it. We haven't run into him sometime, you know. I think a lot
Well,
of
he's
cities
only like
and
4 hours up the road. We should go on a road trip.
Kentucky. I had some strange experiences in Kentucky too. I mean, that was on that expedition. That was a crazy one. Ended up having to go home early on that one.
I love it, Denise Pack, when the pair of bitch comes out.
I love it.
And Heidi, yes, I will absolutely call you because we have got to chit chat. Just saying.
And
I know
also,
I'm kind of
I just want to
detracting from the show a little bit, but Heidi and I have got some stuff to discuss. And maybe we'll just three-way in Amber because
that's
everybody already knows. I love Amber. I love Amber. Just saying. Okay. And for those of you who don't follow what this YouTube stuff is, all you need to know, I roll for Amber and Heidi. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's it. Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about here, because we could probably spend a lot of time going on all of this, but I want to know about this Tennessee serial killer.
Oh, this is creepy. Okay, so this guy, his name is Jeremiah Lexer, and he was born in 1826 in Talbot, Tennessee, which I believe that's up there around the Cherokee Forest, National Forest, around in that area. So this is his house pictured here, and that's his family up there. He is in the bottom right corner. So basically,
So this
he
is
lived,
him right here. This
that's
is
him right there. Yes. No, the one heading down, the older one.
Yeah, this one.
Right there. Yeah.
So he's the serial killer.
He's a serial killer. And he is really, really so basically up in this county there was reported lots of missing people. I mean, people would come through the town and then they just go missing, and reports would be sent to the sheriff's station, and you know, they'd never find them, and they just assumed that they disappeared in the mass forest around the area, you know, animal attacks, what have you. And that's the way it went for years and years and years. And then I believe it was 1902, Jeremiah here, he sharpened up an axe pretty good and killed his whole entire family. And then he went to the roof of his house and jumped off and killed himself. Now, that's grisly enough, you know, just that fact. But when the sheriff's department came to investigate and to remove the bodies, they found almost 30 more bodies on the premises that were buried, just haphazardly buried all over the farm. They only located.
Tell me again what year this was.
This was when he killed his whole family was 1902, but he had been killing people for several years prior to that. And
what do we know what his motive would have been or anything like that?
Well, they found out later that he was like he suffered untreated bipolar and schizophrenia, so he was mentally ill. And you know, back in those days, they didn't treat the crazies; they just put them out on the front porch for everybody to see. I mean, you know, so that's what they're saying is maybe that's why he turned serial killer. But they only found close to 30 bodies, but they suspect that he probably killed closer to 100 people. So
That's
this house, isn't it though? But the weird thing about it is that county, because of the economy was so bad, they didn't want it out that they had this serial killer, living in the county. So they buried a lot of the evidence and stuff and destroyed a lot of the evidence. So today, there is controversy over whether this story is true because, no one ever heard of it, right? So, and I can't remember the year. It was recent. It was like in the 90s, maybe, or the TBI had to release what they had, the information that they had on this, which was very little, but they had to release it due to some Freedom of Something Act. So that's how we found out about it. Now,
Can you
this
say what
house.
part of Tennessee it was from again?
Excuse me.
What part of Tennessee was this in again?
This is in Talbot, Tennessee. That's Eastern Tennessee. That's in the eastern part of the state.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt here, but can we give a shout out to Lace? It's our first time watching us on Amber and Heidi's channel.
Welcome, Lace. We are so glad you are here. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Scotland himself. We're going global, baby. Midnight Wolfpack's the place to be. Remember to click like and subscribe.
Anyways, what we were saying.
So this house, no family really wanted to live in this house because, of the killings and the murders and things. So it was a restaurant a couple of times. It was like a seafood restaurant and another restaurant. But today it is a haunted house attraction. I mean, you can go in October to haunted house. And I think it's called Frightmare Manor or something like that. But you can actually go there and go through it. And I read a little bit. I think there's a website for that. And it is it's pretty creepy. I don't know if I want to go to a haunted house there because I'm sure there's probably some, other things there that I wouldn't want to encounter.
Sure.
But
can you give us his name again so I can put it in chat?
Can I give you what?
What his name was in case people want to research him further?
It's Jeremiah Lexer. Or you can also Google Tennessee serial killer too.
Lexer as in Lexor?
Lexar. I'm sorry, ER. Lexer.
Let's see if I can get this to go.
You look at you.
I did. Here you go, people. That's it. That's it.
But if you want to get a carload and go to a haunted house, that would be a good one to go to. I think probably pretty creepy.
I want to go.
Let's go.
I want to try to go investigate it personally, but
you can look up the haunted house attraction, and they have a website for that. If it's with COVID last year, I don't know if it's still where you can tour it, go to it, but maybe.
You had some other stuff in here. I want to see if I can find it. I want to talk about some of the stuff that I saw that we don't really talk about a lot. I mean, as you guys can see, we can do.
What about What's in the Woods?
You know what? Yeah, why don't we talk about that? Maybe Splotchman wants to add something on that one.
Right.
Well, in Tennessee, you have, if you're a native of Tennessee, like I am, my grandmother always told us legends of the Wampus Cat and, Bigfoot. And there's also Dogman. A lot of people don't talk about Dogman, but, that's something else that's out there. And there's actually been several reports and sightings of a Dogman type creature in Tennessee, primarily Eastern Tennessee. But when I was researching, I found a map, and there was probably like 40 little red dots on it where there were sightings of Dogman. Now that's something I don't want to encounter. But then you also have little people. Um, now when I used to go on the Bigfoot expeditions, we used to go to the Cherokee National Forest up in eastern Tennessee. Um, and that, I mean, if you're into Bigfoot, that's a great place to go. I've had a lot of experiences up there, and we captured a lot of thermal imaging. There was, if you're a big, if Greg Yost probably knows what I'm talking about here. And I don't like this term because it sounds real cartoony, but Bigfoot supposedly can emit some type of infrasound, and they call it zapping. That's what they call it. So I got zapped up in Tennessee on a trail, and I will tell you, it was very, very scary. It was, don't recommend it to anyone. I mean, I know people at that time when we were going on those expeditions, people would go wanting to get zapped, and I was like, why would you want to do that? It was very painful, and I don't know. It just, but the cool thing about it is, after that happened to me, I actually had a doctor that was there with us when that happened, that was taking my pulse and all that stuff. And so we went back down to the camp area, and, of course, they told everybody what happened, and they took thermal imaging cameras up there to where it happened, and we actually got footage of what looked like a bigger one that was on it. Greg said he's been zapped 3 times, so he knows what I'm talking about. And that's, well, he's talking about people missing in the Great Smoky National Forest. That I have a slide on that, missing 411. But so they got footage in that very same spot of a big one that dropped his knees and was pushing a smaller one in front of it. And so, probably what happened, because I was the first one down the trail, and it was an old logging trail, and my friend and my 2 friends were behind me, and I was the first one down, and they were probably 30 feet behind me, and they, I came to the spot where I got zapped, and what we think maybe there were young ones there that maybe the bigger one was protected. But it felt like, and I know for everybody it feels like something different, but for me, it was to my right that it was coming from, and for me it felt like somebody had shot me through the head right here, and it blew out the side. That's what it felt like, and instantly put me on my knees, and the headache was tremendous, and you had this instant feeling of fear, like you have to get out of there, run. I mean, you have to leave the area. So and then the other people got to me, and we started walking back up to the vehicle we were in, and they were filming the whole time, walking around us. And then we also smelled the smell. But the one thing that I find when you go in the woods, and Greg will attest to this also, you almost know, because it will become completely silent, meaning you won't hear anything, no bugs, no birds, no little squirrels, nothing. It just becomes completely silent, and then you're being watched. Just something is somewhere. But yeah, the Cherokee National Forest in Tennessee is a great place to go if you want to go Bigfoot. Now there's bears there too, so you have to kind of.
Well,
it's a bear reserve.
I do want to ask a question of the chat, specifically to Lace, because I've never heard of this. Maybe you guys have, but is that Saw Bay?
I was thinking the same thing.
Is that Saw Bay? Have you heard of that?
That's what it looks like.
I haven't heard of that. Kentucky Goblins, I haven't heard of that either.
Lace, if you don't mind, what culture is that? I'd like to learn more about that.
And we have, Joe, like 20 minutes. So if you want to see if anybody wants to come up, this will be a perfect time to. If she wants to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
I'm happy to share the
it,
link
or anybody else who wants to come up.
if somebody wants to join and come say hey. You know how we like to invite our friends.
Every week.
But that and then in Texas, I was on an expedition and I was bluff charged, and that was an experience. It happened just like in the movies, um, where you fall and you just know in a horror movie, somebody's running and they fall. That was me. But yeah, that was a cool. I don't want to say cool experience because it was very fearful, but it was. And what was so strange about that experience is, um, you know, we were all in the field and we were like, looking for footprints and, evidence and things like that. And I was starting to get an anxiety attack for some reason. So I told my friends that I was going to walk back to the camp and, get some medication. And so I'm walking on this trail. There's woods on each side, and I'm just texting her. And she's like, do you want me to come? No, I'm fine. I'll be fine. So I stopped to text, and that's when I heard the it sounded like a herd of elephants coming through the woods, tree limbs breaking and everything. So I stopped, and it took me like a whole 10 seconds, like, what the hell is that? And then I realized it was like something coming toward me. So I turned around, and I started kind of walking back to where people were and just kind of looking over my shoulder, and then it got faster. So I started running, and then I hit a tree root or something, and I flattened it right on the trail. And when I did, I screamed. I screamed as loud as I could scream. Um, and it stopped. The footsteps stopped and everything. So we actually went back to the same spot that night, but they investigated it, and what they found was there was a spot where the footprints we casted, where it was just stomping in the ground and breaking tree limbs to try to scare me. I was too close for some reason. But the weird thing about that is when you go Bigfoot on a Bigfoot expedition, you always have a recorder out because you're always wanting to record screams or whatever. So that night in the swamp, one of the ladies there that had her recorder out, she had it out in the swamp a little bit, recorded a scream that was mimicked mine to the T. I mean, it sounded just like the scream that I had done earlier that day. But it was done at night. And Bigfoot has been known to mimic people too, so we thought that was pretty cool.
Have you ever heard of this documentary?
I have not.
Jason, where do you find this? I would like to know.
Yeah,
I would like to know. I'm gonna move forward here a little bit because I want to know about this hotel. Everybody loves a creepy hotel, and I don't even know where Reliance is.
I don't either.
I think that is in East Tennessee too, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it was built 1878, and this lady lived there. She actually built it and lived there, but then for some reason there's no information about it for like 5 years. And then the Higdon family moved into it, and they decided to turn it into like a hotel because the railroad ran through there. So, people from the railroad, they could stay there. It'd be kind of like a boarding house hotel, and his family could live there too. So, and, it was called Higdon Station for a while, and it stayed like that for a while until that family died out and things. And then it was made into a, just a boarding house in the 30s or 40s. And
This cat here, give me a minute.
and then I can't remember when it became empty, but it became empty at some point and stayed empty for a long time. And then in 1993, this strange man came and was going to remodel it, bring it back to its glory. But for whatever reason, he left the hotel. He left his supplies that he had to remodel it were all left beside the hotel. And there was no reason given for why he left. But some of the locals say that if you are brave enough to go in the hotel, you can hear chains and things from the top. You can hear people talking. So it's obviously haunted. And apparently was haunted enough that the guy in 1993 chose not to renew the hotel and just abandoned it as is. And from what I understand, it still is standing there. I haven't found any information saying that it's been torn down.
Do you know what they're using it for today? Is it just a vacant building?
It's abandoned now. It's just abandoned. It's just it looks like you see it there, just abandoned, grown up, and sure he got scared and ran. Yeah, and you have to think if he was a businessman and he came to town, it had to have been pretty something pretty bad to scare him to just leave all of his supplies and that he spent money on there and just leave without question.
I don't know. I would like to go and check that place out personally.
Yeah, now that would be, that's kind of like the back roads of Tennessee. You can find so many abandoned places that would be so cool to just investigate. I don't recommend trespassing, but there's so many of them in Tennessee. If you drive the back roads, there's just so many places that are you just look at them and wonder, like, what's in their walls, what has their walls absorbed from the living.
Did you know that for a brief period in time I owned a part of a hotel that looked like that?
Did you really?
I did. Yep.
And where you're from?
For a very brief period in time, I was a part owner of the Rhodes Hotel in Atlanta, Indiana. Very brief period of time.
That's pretty cool.
I know. Are any of these places she's showing, are you able to investigate?
Not, well, like, of course, like Brushy Mountain State Prison you can go to, and Crack Fawn, I think, has opened up now and started paranormal investigating. And I know Wynwood Inn, which is in my presentation, they had their first paranormal investigation either this past year or a year before, in 2019. And so there's several of them that you can, but a lot of the ones, the Thomas Hotel, you can. Have you been there?
I have not. And hey, Snug Bunny.
Yeah, you go.
I have not been to the Thomas Hotel. It is on my list. I would like to go this year. Mostly because I hear that the woman who runs it makes really good breakfast. I don't know if that's true.
Well, I really would like to go there. They have there's a paranormal investigation group that runs the ghost tours there. And I don't know, with you being having your own group, you probably could do one there yourself. But it's of course you see all the popular things about it that that everybody that goes there, about the little girl that goes to the ball and all that stuff. But one of the things when I was researching that it used to be called the Cloyd Hotel at one time. And then there was another time in history where it actually was a cult that lived there. So that was pretty interesting, I thought. And they were like, they wanted to contact the dead, this cult did. But the actual hotel, there's like, and I can't remember exactly how it went, but there's a lot of limestone there, and there's like two creeks that intersect, the water flowing through. So apparently, from what I've read, that's a very good situation to have for paranormal activity. So the running water and the limestone. And I heard that the church across from it is very haunted too.
I like that Sherry mentioned that the Thomas House is one of her favorites. The fact that you have been there 7 times tells me a lot. But I haven't been. It is, like I said, it's on my
it's not
list.
far from here. It's not very far from here at all. It's only about.
I don't know why.
And it's really not that expensive. To stay overnight. You can stay overnight.
Hey, Black Swan.
We should all do that one time.
I'm all for it. And the fact that you get to, again, big selling point for me.
Here's the breakfast.
In the night, and then you get breakfast the next morning.
Exactly.
You know, I'm just all about let's go somewhere, spend the night, and let's eat food. I'm all about.
I agree.
It's not a bad idea.
You know, I mean, um, tell me about this tavern.
The Tablet Tavern, that's in Kentucky, and there's like stories of Jesse James being there, like, and there's actually bullet holes in the wall. The legend or the folklore is that James, when he stayed there, he saw.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
I think we lost her.
I think we did lose her. Well, maybe she'll be back.
Maybe.
She'll be back. I'm going to put this down for a second. She'll come back. So, shout out to Ernie. Yes, the Lots House.
Amazing.
Is it Lots or Loads? I never know what it is.
You always say it wrong, probably.
Whatever I think it is, it's the opposite of
Yeah.
it.
But
Okay, Trend is trying to come back.
I do want to go back there, though.
You what?
I do want to go back there.
I do want to go back there. I do. And the Talbot Tavern is beside the Jailer's Inn. I didn't
know that.
It's like literally like right across the street.
Right.
Well, across the board.
Like
I could go there. Okay, you back, girl?
I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
They have
Probably my ghost.
Hey, it's okay. Apparently, some of the people have already been to the Talbot Tavern.
Yeah, it's so
great.
Hold
on. Besides your breakfast, they have an awesome country dinner and midnight snack breakfast. So yeah, snackies all night, Joe.
It is, but that's at the Thomas house, right?
But I mean, there's dinner and a midnight snack. It's perfect.
I didn't realize you got dinner too.
I think it's all included in the price.
Sign me up. Hey, y'all. I hate to interrupt, but we got a caller. We got a caller, people.
The Parrot Thug is in the house.
Hey,
what
people.
Doing, girl?
Well, you know, you're talking about one of my favorite places.
Well, tell us about it.
Well, I just got the opportunity to go with Denise and Ernie and Todd and Leanne up to Kentucky, and you know they've investigated the Jailer's Inn.
Oh yeah, I know.
But we had dinner next door, and now I'm obsessed with Jesse and Frank James.
Well,
you would like Wynwood Inn because at Wynwood Inn, Jesse James, which Wynwood Inn is in Gallatin, and Jesse James, when he broke out of the legend is when he broke out of the Sumner County Jail that he hid out at the inn.
Okay, yeah, I got to go there too.
It's pretty cool. It's like
I'm obsessed. It's a problem. It really is.
You get a little shout out. It's the little
apparently, somebody thought I was like fixing to be like 60.
Really? Oh, you froze.
So now I'm the.
Oh, you froze. We did not hear a word you said. You just.
What about? Apparently, I'm old.
You are not old.
Well, I'm only about to be 48. Sorry, my dog is like on crack in the cage.
No, I think all the dogs are barking tonight.
It's been kind of crazy, but you know, and we wanted to check in with you because look, Shauna's in here. Hey, girl.
Hey, Shauna.
All the wonderful people. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to come up there and we're gonna have to do that because I was not aware in Gallatin that there was an area.
Cragfawn Inn, the Cranfont Mansion, Virginia Winchester. It has a lot of paranormal activity, but for a long time they didn't allow any investigations. But I've been told that they're allowing them now. I don't know what criteria you have to get in there, but I've been told that they do allow them, and that place would be cool. I have been to that place so many times that when I took
It's
my son
me. I'm
there,
sorry.
the caretaker, we were walking up to the door and to let us in, and she said, she was, the lady that takes you through it, and she says, "I know you," and I said, "Yeah, I've been here a few times," and she unlocked the door and she said, "I know who you are. Just take your son through there. I'm gonna sit on the porch. You know more than I do." So we got to walk around the whole house by ourselves.
Well,
Now that would be fun.
Well, one question that we got from Alberta, the Jailer's Inn and the Talbot Tavern, they're in Franklin, Kentucky, correct?
I don't know that they're in Franklin. It's Bardstown, Kentucky.
Are these two different places?
They're right next to
Yeah.
each other.
Next to each other, I think they're really close.
I don't think they're far apart, but
I thought it was Franklin, Kentucky.
No, the tavern and the Jailer's Inn are right next to each other.
and aren't they in Bardstown? Yeah, somebody said.
Yep, Bardstown.
Jailer's Inn and Talbot Tavern, or in Bardstown, Kentucky. Well, that really doesn't answer my question, Jason.
He's trying to say they're both in Bardstown.
But is that close to Franklin? I think it's like
Oh, you know what? I'm getting confused. I'm thinking of the Old Stone Jail. That's why
in Franklin.
That's why I'm getting confused. I'm a dumbass.
Oh, and she brought up some wonderful memories when she said something about the Wampus cat, because my Meemaw used to threaten us with the Wampus cat on a regular basis as a child.
So did my grandmother. My grandmother lived on a mountain, and you had outdoor toilet. So you sat on after supper. You sat on the front porch, and she told you ghost stories, and she told you about the Wampus cat and the werewolf in the woods, which now I guess we would call that a dog man. But she made you scared to walk down the road, and she intended to make you scared to walk down the road so you wouldn't.
Oh yeah. And then we had the tiger and the tiger lilies too.
Now, I've not heard of the tiger and the tiger lilies.
Oh my Lord! There's something for everything. I'm telling you.
Told us about the old Banshee woman, and of course, and then you're sitting on the porch on a mountain, and that makes it even worse, But yeah,
she was from the North Georgia mountains, so you always get the best stories out of the mountains and the hollers, and some of them ring more true than people would care to realize.
Well, they have to start somewhere. That's what I say. There's truth in every legend and folklore. There's some little bit of truth. It has to start somewhere. Something happens somewhere. It's just built on.
I have a question. I didn't know. Is Bardstown, Kentucky known for a lot of unsolved murders? I haven't heard that before.
Isn't that where? There's I can't think of the podcast. There's a podcast, but there's like 5 or 6 murders that are unsolved, and there's a whole podcast about it. And they're all linked together. Maybe somebody knows what it is.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about too, and I can't remember the name of it.
You know what I'm talking about? It's like first it was a woman that got murdered, and then it was like every month somebody was getting murdered, and they end up all being tied together. But I don't think they ever solved those murders. I think they're still unsolved.
Yeah, because it didn't come out. It wasn't a very long time ago that it came out.
No, I remember listening to it like in 2019, and So yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
I think we're all obsessed with those too. I mean, to be honest with you, unsolved murders go right up in the alley of what we do.
Well, absolutely they do.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of overlap between the two.
Oh yeah, Jason said something about police have been killed and believe it's part of the cornbread mafia. Really, cornbread mafia? That's a thing.
Is that really a thing?
Real?
Did he make that up?
I don't know. Maybe it's part of the Red Hot Chili Pepper Mafia, Jason.
You know, I'm gonna look this up.
That.
Now I'm curious.
Now I want to know if that's real or not.
Cornbread mafia. Oh
I
my
think
God.
Alberta knows more about it than all of us.
Oh, here's what the cornbread mafia is.
It's real.
It is real. The cornbread mafia was the name for a group of Kentucky men who created the largest domestic marijuana production operation in the United States history.
Ernie says it has nothing to do with the cornbread mafia. Well, they need to get a new name. I'm telling you, that's just not.
The name is horrible.
Peeper mafia?
Yeah.
The Peeper Mafia.
Yeah.
The Burrito Brothers. I
I
love
think
it.
people are just making shit up now. The next one is going to be the children of the cornbread.
Children of the cornbread.
What? I have lost control of this show.
Oh my God.
Okay, on that note, I love y'all. I just wanted to stop by and say hello. This has been a great show, very informative.
Well, I want to thank you, Miss Parathug. Get with Denise on what I sent her if she hasn't already.
Well, Denise is the holler queen. She's a holler thug. I'm a street thug. She's a holler thug. So don't mess with our babies. Don't mess with our babies.
Denise that you might enjoy. So
I will get on that just shortly after your show is over, and because I got to finish watching the show. But I'm so glad I got to see the three of you tonight. Trent, I'll be in touch because she's got a lot of good information that I want to know more about.
Well, I'm telling you can't have her on your show. I'm just
I
saying.
can
I have a
come
lot of
see her.
useless facts in my head.
Ask Todd. I do too.
You cannot steal
my
my
house is haunted, so you can come see me.
I will, and we can stop by, and I can get some of them brownies up there with Shauna, and
Hey now, what about me?
you can go too. Just remember the brownies and the lemon chiffon cream cheese blend. That's all mine.
You have to share, Beth. You have to share.
Oh, girl.
You can have all the Pringles you want, but
let me just tell you, I have some of that lemon chiffon cream cheese.
yeah, it's like crack. It's like crack. No lie.
Now, guess what I did? Okay, and I didn't even tell Shauna this, so she's in the room, so I'm glad that she's really going to enjoy this. So I had my folks over not too long ago. It was for the Super Bowl. I had them over. And, I wanted to make like a little dessert type thing. And so I was going to make that dip, that cream cheese dip.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's great, but, all the graham crackers, I wind up buying all these graham crackers and people only eat like 2 of them because they just want the dip, right? So instead, I took Shauna's advice and I put it in a graham cracker crust and I turned it into a pie.
Made a pie.
Oh.
That's good.
You should do it. You should do it.
Yeah, but there's more love in it when Shauna does it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like she sprinkles hugs on top, and then she's like, "Beth, I love you," and I'm just like, "Oh."
Shauna's the best. Shauna's the best.
Shauna,
And what's this? You guys had a slumber party on Friday? Why was I not invited?
Yes, honey. I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die on the way to Louisville. I was about to have a heart attack in the back seat. I'm like, okay, the roads aren't so bad. And then I'm like, oh my God, Winter Wonderland. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Well,
I love you, Shauna. Yeah, it was we didn't wear our onesies this time, but we had, speaking of food and love, Denise makes the best loaded potato soup you will ever eat in your life.
Yeah, now I'm really pissed that I wasn't invited, but okay.
I love potato soup.
It was delicious.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Leanne took a picture I'll send it to you in Messenger, of me and Red asleep on the couch. And me and Red were we were exhausted. It was a fun night, lots of laughs. Nobody died.
Well, see, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys make Todd go to a Starbucks run or anything like that?
No, he's on Starbucks strike.
Oh.
sad.
Yeah. No Democas for me. I'm a little upset. No pumpkin.
That's sad.
Just like hearing about Todd's experiences at Starbucks.
Well, the time is coming. Oh yes, and Todd does sleep in the drawer. Denise has trundle bed.
Oh,
So we refer to it as the drawer that Todd sleeps in.
Where does Leanne sleep?
oh.
On the top drawer.
What?
I would like a picture of
Me
this.
too.
Poor Todd, he has been abused at one point while he was asleep in the drawer. He woke up to see his wife, me, and Denise standing there and the dog.
Oh my goodness. I kind of feel bad for Todd.
Todd and Ernie can't win. They really can't. We
No.
got Ernie this weekend. He was like, where did all these females come from?
That's kind of what I'm saying. I kind of feel bad for him. Both of them.
I feel, just pray for them. They need it.
You know what? I will. They have their hands full. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yes. Denise is correct. Ernie Pack woke up with all of us in the bed.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys are nuts. You know what?
Yeah.
It might be better that I wasn't there.
It would have been hysterical. I would have died.
It might be better that I wasn't there.
Could you imagine the scandal of those photos? We'd have been in their selfies.
Oh my God.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. You know what? I don't know that I can be a part of this.
You could. It's so much fun.
We can-
Ain't no party like a midnight Wolfpack party.
That's what I'm saying. That is what I am saying.
I'm just saying. But I'll let y'all get back to the show. I love y'all. I'll be in touch. We're going to have to do a round table, all of us together.
Yes, we will. Yes,
Sounds
we
good.
will. So,
Yeah.
thank you for visiting,
Trenda,
Beth.
I'm coming to visit. I'm going to swing by, see Shauna, and I'm going to come by and see you.
Please
You're
do.
more than welcome.
Thank you.
You're more than
Please do.
All right,
welcome.
y'all have a good night. Y'all be good.
We'll talk to you later.
See
Bye,
ya.
All
Beth.
right, bye. Kick me out, Joe.
Kick her out. There you
I
go.
kicked her out.
Kick her out. How dare you kick that out?
Well, I was going to say, I don't think I can truly kick her out because I think she came in under the admin account.
Oh.
But I am going to go ahead and wrap this up, mostly just because I need to go get some dinner. Well, hey, at least I'm honest about it. But Trenda, I am so glad that you came on tonight. There obviously was a lot that we didn't cover. So, I mean, we barely touched any of it, really. I mean, we barely made a dent. So I would like to have you back on at some point, if that's okay.
I'd be more than happy to. Yeah,
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
I would be
But-
more than happy to.
But, we kind of jump from topic to topic, and our friends come in. So, this is
That's
Ghost
right.
Hunter and
It's a
friends.
party.
So you never really know what you're going to get.
It was
But
a lot
I
of fun.
really
I
go
appreciate it.
and end it. But thank you to all of our viewers who came on, and I hope you all learned a little bit of something. For those of you that are around Tennessee and really anywhere that it's cold, oh my God, please stay warm. It's like the gates of hell out there. It's like hell froze
I know.
over. So, for me to actually say that, it must really be cold.
It is cool.
And, everybody just keep on keeping on.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So, all right.
Stay warm,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you again, Trenda.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Ashley.
All right.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.